Would you believe if I told you that I made this satin bonnet from just my paper and my pen? And I'm going to explain what I mean by that. So I made myself a very easy pattern that just allowed making that satin bonnet move really quickly for me. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing how you can make your own circle patterns that can transform into beautiful pieces for you in any of your sewing projects. So if you're interested in learning all about circles, please be sure to watch this video to the end. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you all how to cut your full circle, your half circle, as well as your quarter circle. So if that sounds like content that you're interested in, please be sure to watch this video to the end, like, share, and subscribe. All right, guys, let's get straight into it. Alright guys, without wasting too much of your time, here are the items that you would need in making your pattern. You're going to need your paper, your tape roll, as well as a marker. So you're going to start off by measuring the width and the length of your paper. For me, this paper is about 36.5 inches long and 24.5 inches wide. So you're going to start off by folding the paper along the width as shown in this video. You're going to fold it and make sure that the two parallel edges of your paper are touching each other equally. And once that is done, you're going to fold it again along the length, and I'm going to show you guys how that is going to go. So yeah, you're going to take it like this and fold it into two, right? And then make sure that the two edges are touching each other. When I finally figured out what I was going for with this paper, I realized that if I folded it into two that way, I'll be wasting paper, right? So I decided to just move the paper a little bit and then folded it according to the length that I was going with. So because I wanted this full circle to turn out to be a satin head bonnet for me, and I wanted the radius of that satin head bonnet to be about 12 inches, I decided to fold my paper into 13 inches along the length. So I adjusted it, and what I have now is about 13 inches. So I'm trying to measure out the radius of my circle. And like I said earlier, I want the radius of my circle to be 12 inches. So what I did was I went ahead to measure the 12 inches along the two sides, the two covered sides of my paper. And then what I did was I placed my tape roll such that my 12 inches is at the apex or the tipping point of the fold. So where that fold is very sharp at the edge, not at the open edge of the paper. Now where your paper is kind of folded and forming a pointy edge, you want to make sure that that's where the radius you're working with is. So because like I said, I want my radius to be 12 inches, my 12 inches mark is at that tipping point, and all I'm doing is moving my tape roll around, but making sure that my 12 inches stays at that tipping point. Some people would say you should sellotape your tape roll at this point so that moving your tape roll will not disturb you, but personally I like to hold my tape roll in place with the radius that I'm working with and then move my tape roll around. So I think you should just decide which version you prefer. Do you prefer to tape your tape roll to that point, or do you prefer to move it around the way I'm doing? So I'm going to leave that for you guys to decide. So what I'm doing now is just moving around, marking my 12 inches and then marking all the way to the open edge of my paper. When marking and when starting with your marking, make sure you're starting from the covered edge of your paper. Don't start from the open edge of your paper because you would not get the right result. So you're working with the tipping point of your paper that is covered, not the tipping point where your paper is kind of opening up at the edges. I hope everything I just said makes sense to you guys. So once I'm done, marking my 12-inch mark all the way to the edge of the paper, I'm going to go ahead to grab my scissors and then cut out all that I've marked. But before we get to that, let's finish marking our points on the paper. Alright guys, so this is what my marking looks like on my paper. Next up, I'm going to grab my paper scissors and then start to cut out my pattern. Alright guys, so like I told you guys, very easy. What we have here is a perfect circle, and this method works for any radius of circle. If you want your radius to be 5 inches, 2 inches, 1 inch, this will work for you and you'll get a perfect circle. Let me know when you guys go ahead to try this out in your sewing projects, and let me know how it went for you guys. So what I'm going to do now is just show you guys how this whole thing works. So what I'm doing now is marking the midpoint of my paper and measuring the circle just to show you guys that everything came out perfectly. I told you guys I want the radius of my circle to be 12 inches and it's exactly 12 inches that we have here. So feel free to go ahead to draw your own beautiful circle for making your own sewing project at home. This circle can be made into anything really, but for the focus of the videos that I'm making for you guys in this particular series, we are working with making satin bonnets, and the videos coming up next will be so exciting for you guys, and I can't wait for you guys to see it. So the next type of circle I'm going to be drawing for you all is a half circle. Just in case you don't want to work with a full circle for whatever reason, this is how to draw your half circle. So we are going to fold our paper into two just the way I just did, and then next thing you're going to determine what radius you're working with. This time you are marking from the open edge of your paper to the closed edge of your paper. I hope everything I just said makes sense to you guys. So for this particular circle, I want the radius to be 10 inches, and what I'm doing now is I'm marking from that covered edge of the from the folded edge of my paper now, right, up onto the open edge of my paper. So what I'm doing now as usual is making sure that my 10-inch is at that folded point of my paper, and then moving my tape roll around till I get to the other edge of my paper. Alright guys, so now that we are done making all the markings on this paper, all we need to do now is just cut. Making your circles can be so much fun and so easy at the same time. So what I'm doing now is I'm just cutting out the points that I marked on this my paper, and once I'm done cutting, I'm going to show you all the half circle that I just made in seconds. Voila guys, this is our half circle. This half circle as well can serve as a pattern for your satin bonnets, and like I told you guys, in the next video after this particular video, you guys are going to see how that is going to transform and work out basically. So the last type of circle I'm going to be showing you all how to make is a quarter circle. So just in case you don't want to waste your pattern paper and all you need is just a quarter circle, this is how to go about it. So you first of all need your paper, of course, and you're folding your paper in a bias kind of fold. So when I say bias fold, this is how you fold your bias fold. You're taking one edge of your paper or your fabric or whatever you're trying to fold to meet the other edge of your paper. I hope everything I just said makes sense. So for this particular paper, I took the horizontal length and made it meet the vertical length of my paper. So you want the two edges to meet each other and form kind of like a 45-degree kind of angle. We are going to do a little bit of mathematics here. So this is where that your maths class in school will come into play in real life situations, right? So yeah, I'm taking my paper and forming a 45-degree angle to give me my bias fold. So once that is done, as usual, we are going to be working with the tipping point of our paper, that sharp point at the edge. And for this particular quarter circle, I'm working with 8 inches. So my 8-inch mark is at the tipping point, and all I'm doing is just moving my tape roll around and making sure that that 8-inch point does not move from that tipping point of my paper. And once I'm done marking everywhere up until the folded edge of this paper, all I'm going to do as usual is take my scissors and then cut out my circle. So that's exactly what I'm going to do right about now. Voila guys, this is my quarter circle. Very easy, very straight to the point. Okay guys, so these are all the circles that we made in today's video. Let me know if you went ahead to try this out on your own. I like to hear from you guys, so feel free to send me a message on Instagram. My handle is always at the top left corner of the screen, so feel free to go follow me on there and connect with me. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Like I said earlier, we are going to be transforming these circles into something amazing. I'm going to be showing you all how to make a drawstring satin bonnet. I got a request from one of my sweethearts on Instagram, and I went to work to create what she wanted me to just show how to create. And yeah guys, this video is going to be coming up next on this channel, so if you're yet to subscribe, please do well to smash the subscribe button and join this family. And yeah guys, I can't wait to see you in my next video. Love and appreciate you guys. Bye.